Hello friends, in this video we will be discussing about comparable and comparator interfaces. These two are very important interfaces whenever we have a data, something like we have a class student with attributes like ID, name, salary, all these things. Okay, so what if we want to sort the data of students? Like we can have multiple students, right? We want to sort the data. How is it possible? We can do the sorting based by using the interfaces called comparable interface and the comparator interface. These two are very important interfaces whenever the sorting of particular employee details or salary details whatsoever are having. If you want to sort them, then we need to come to this one. So here it is written. These two interfaces are used for sorting the data. Now I am giving a small explanation about what comparable and comparators are doing. Comparable is the interface which is called as single sorting sequence. I mean to say, here sorting, if you want to do, for example, a student is having ID, name, marks or something like, right? Our employee is having ID, name, salary. If you want to go with only ID based sorting, ID based sorting, or only with name based sorting, or only with marks or salary based sorting, then you can go for comparable interface. If you want to have all kinds of interfaces like ID based sorting, name based sorting, salary based, all at a time, then you have to go for comparator interfaces. How these comparable and comparator interfaces are going to be used, we'll discuss in the programming example. Let us jump into the programming example. I have created a class employee with ID, name, salary as three attributes. You observe here, I have three attributes. I have created a class employee with three attributes: ID, name, salary. Okay. So along with that, I am using constructor, parameterized constructor for setting the attributes: ID, name, salary, all these details. If I am just trying to get the values, set the values by using what? Parameterized constructor. And you know that toString method purpose. ToString is method is used for sending back details back to the object, right? So coming to the main method class, I have created an array list object for employee class, and I have added four employee details like Arjun, Krishna, Karna and Bhim with their respective ID numbers 123, 124, 121, 120 and their respective salaries 50,000, 60,000, 55,000 and 52,000. And I am trying to print that object Z of array list type, array list object. Okay, so let me execute this. Now I am able to display the details of employee like ID number 123, name Arjun, salary 50,000. ID number 124, name Krishna, salary 60,000. ID number 121, name Krishna, salary 55,000. ID number 120, name Bhim, salary 50. Here you observe here all the data, whatever the data exactly what I have stored, I have displayed there. Now I am planning for sorting this data. Is there, can we use the collections.sort method? Collections.sort of Z, I'm trying to write, but it is showing error. Okay, this is going to be used, but not now. I have to do some small changes for sorting. Then I can come back to this. So as of now, I am not able to sort the data what I have entered. Then immediately I need to remind of two names. I told you I've started with what are those? Comparable and comparator interfaces. Where comparable is only single sorting sequence, means only ID based sorting or name based sorting or salary based sorting. Comparator can do all at a time. So let me start with comparable. So here for the code what I have written, I am doing small changes. Implements interface called comparable. What is the interface I am implementing? Comparable interface. And here we have to write the class name employee. Whatever the class is there, the class name I have to use. And it is showing As I'm implementing the interface, obviously we need to have its abstract method, right? The class which is implementing the interface must use the abstract method of the interface what it is using, implementing, right? The abstract method of comparable interface is, let me write down here, or directly I can get into that, add an unimplemented method, you can write and see here, all these things are not needed. This is the compare to method, it is being implemented here. Compare to method is nothing but the abstract method of the interface comparable. So here I'm going to create employee s1 or something like, or s object for employee class, and here what I'm trying to write is, I'm going to write one step, if s dot id is greater than id, then I'm returning 1. If s dot id is less than id, then I'm returning -1, else I'm returning 0. So this is the steps, these are the steps what I have written in compare to method. And let me remind you once again guys, compare to method is an abstract method of interface comparable. As this employee class is implementing the comparable interface, it must use the compare to method of comparable interface. And this is what we need to write. And you can sense here that I am trying to do ID based sorting. Now I am trying to use one more time this step. I am coming back to this collections dot sort of Z. Now I am not able to see any error. Earlier, just before writing this implementation of comparable interface, I got error when I call this particular method. Now it will not show. Now let me check what is the output we are getting. All the names what I got here is ID 124, name Krishna, salary 60,000. Next to ID 123, next to ID 121, next to ID 120. Their respective names, 123 respective name Arjun, salary 50,000. ID 121, name Karna, salary 55,000. ID 120, name Beam, salary 52,000. And just let me remind you guys, here the data what I have entered is like this, 123, 124, 121, 120. But here I got the data in sorted order, but the sorted based upon the ID. If you want to get this data in descending, this is the descending order, right? I want to get the data in ascending order based upon ID. Just do one thing, here you write -1 and here you write 1. Now execute this code once again and you see that you are getting the details in ascending order. 120 ID, name Beam, salary 52,000. ID 121, name Karna, salary 55,000. ID 123, name Arjun, salary 50,000. ID 124, name Krishna, salary 60,000. Again sorting based upon the ID. Now I want to do the sorting based upon the salary. I can do here comparable interface what I was initially telling about. It can do sorting only one kind of sorting at a time. ID based sorting it has done. If you want to do the ID based sorting, sorry, something like name based sorting or salary based sorting, then you need to go to the changes in the code. I'm trying to do salary based sorting. Salary is greater than salary. S dot salary is less than salary. This is the step what I have written. Now see here, you check the result. You are getting the salary data in the sorted order based upon the salary. Whose salary is lowest? Arjun here. So 50,000. That is what we are getting first. If you want to get the details in descending order, you know that here -1 is to be replaced with 1, 1 is to be replaced with -1. And observe here, you got the details in sorting order based upon the salary. So this is about comparable interface. What I have done, have a look. I have created a class which implements comparable interface. Okay. And attributes I have taken id, name, salary, and parameterized constructor for setting the values, and toString method as obviously what we do regularly. And additionally, I have implemented compare to method, which is the abstract method for the interface comparable. And I have done here, you just observe, this is salary based sorting. And I have created an array list object of employee type for employee class. And I have added some details. And before that, I made a call to collection.sort method. This will work on the code what you have written here. If you are written the code based upon salary, it will do the salary based on sorting based upon salary. If you are writing based upon the ID, then it will do sorting based upon the ID. This is about what? Comparable interface. Now I am trying to write comparable interface, sorry, comparator interface. Now let me remove this code, and obviously I have to remove this compared to method also. Look here, simply now I have removed all the comparable interface related things, and again back I am getting error in sort when I call to sort method. So now I am shifting from here to comparator interface. Okay, now what I will do is I'll create class id sorting, something like id sorting implements comparator interface. I have to create separate class. That's what you need to observe here. Plus comparator, and here what you need to write is what is the class you are using? Employee class. This is what how you need to write. And obviously here it is showing some error. It is asking to import. I have imported the comparator class. Now again it is showing error. You know what is the error here? The error is you have implemented the comparator class. Obviously you need to use the abstract method of comparator class. And see, the abstract method of comparator class is, you observe here, this is compare. For comparable interface, compare to is the abstract method, and this for this comparator, compare is the interface. Here we will be creating two objects. Let me create two objects, s1 comma s2. Okay, and within this what is to be written is similar kind of code. If s1 dot id greater than s2 dot id, return 1, else if s1 dot id less than s2 dot id, return -1, else return 0. This is the code I have written. Very first, let me execute this. Let me show you the code first. Class employee. Here nothing implement step to be written. What I have done for comparable. Now I am talking about comparator interface. That's why nothing is to be written. And I have created normal attributes and parameterized constructor for setting the attributes and toString method. And I have closed the employee class. Separately, I have created one more class which is implementing the comparator class, and within the bracket you need to write on which class you are working on. Employee class, right? Data is available with employee class. That's what you need to write. And the comparator method is having the abstract method compare, and in parameters you need to create two objects, and this is how you need to write the code steps. And the similar code you need to write, like our data is added here. What you need to write is new. You need to make a call to the class what you have created, new id sorting. What you need to write is new id sorting. This is how you need to write the step. And let me execute this code, and you got the details in sorted order based upon the id, and you can get it out here. Again you have done a id based sorting only. You told like Comparator is for multi-sequence sorting, but it is doing again only one kind of sorting. Now what I have to do is I can write all the codes at a time. Look here, all the codes at a time. For ID based sorting I have written, right? Now I will write a code for salary based sorting, and let me rename it sal sorting. Okay. So here instead of ID you write down salary, salary, and here also ID replaced with salary, and here ID replaced with salary. And you clearly observe now what is the code I have written. Again a class, attributes, parameter is constructor, followed by toString method, and the employee class is closed. Thereafter I have created a separate class for ID sorting, which is implementing comparator interface, and again one more class is there, salary sorting, which is implementing again comparator interface. And here I have written the code for salary based sorting. Similarly, you can go for name based sorting also. Separately, you need to create a class which implements the comparator interface. As of now, we see sal sorting and ID sorting. Now, after this step, what I will do is I'll copy this and paste it. Instead of ID sorting, now I'll write sal sorting. And after that, again I will try to execute the object Z. I will try to print the object Z. What is the output I am going to get? Now see, I am going to get two outputs, first output and the second output. First one you observe, this is ID based sorting from here to here, and you observe this is salary based sorting. Means ID based sorting you have done, salary based sorting you have done at a time, right? So that's why comparator is said to be the what? Multi-sequence sorting interface, whereas comparable was only single sequence sorting. Okay, so these are the differences between the comparator and comparable. In interviews also we will be regularly asking about comparator and comparable interfaces. Very important one in interview point of view also. Okay, so hope you understood the code. Go through the entire code from starting to ending. You will understand the concept very carefully, and repeat the video once or twice at least, so that you will get a full clarity on the topic. And before closing, I'm just trying to show the code, entire code, what I have done for comparator interface. Earlier I have shown the entire code for comparable interface in the same video, right? This is ID based sorting class, and this is salary based sorting class, and this is the main method class where I have added the details and try to sort ID based sorting, thereafter salary based sorting. Hope you understood about comparable and comparator interfaces. Okay, thank you guys.